Hello, welcome back. Welcome back to our bonkers coffee morning. Hope you all had a good weekend. Um, do you remember this blouse from the charity shop? Well, this is it. Not too sure. I think I'm a bit old for it. I don't know what you're meant to do. They have to wear them up there or wear them down, but they keep falling down. So this is it. Let me know what you think on it in the comments. Am I too old for this? Do I look like I should be on the mountain with the goats, yodeling? I don't know. Anyway, lots to talk about today. Yeah, I've had quite a nice week. It's not been too bad. Not done an awful lot because I was looking after my granddaughter. I'd love to hear about your weeks. Sorry about my hair blowing. I've got a fan on because it's so hot in here. Yeah, I had my granddaughter, which was lovely, and she's no trouble at all. And I don't see her. She shuts herself away in the room. She's been designing the bedroom, so that's something else that we're going to be doing. Keep your comments coming. I've had such lovely comments, and it's really nice. It's really lovely. It's just what I'm telling you is things to think about, and I think it has got us all thinking. But there was something else I thought about. How many of you live alone? Because obviously I live alone, and I love it. Absolutely love it. I always used to have the television on in the background for background noise, just so there was noise in the place. But for the last 6 months, I've not been doing that. I've kept the television off and I've had the windows open and I've listened to the sounds outside. Sometimes you're frightened of silence, but I've been listening just to the wind in the trees, the birds. And it's lovely. It's so, so lovely. And I like that. And I think sometimes living on your own, you are frightened of the silence. Actually, it's really lovely and it's being comfortable with yourself. But there was something else that I started to do about a year ago, which I found really, really good. And that is shutting your eyes and thinking about something that would make you so happy, something you really, really would love, where you'd like to be, and think about it. Take in every detail of it. It could be that you want to move home, but financially you can't. It could be anything, how you want to look. Take in every detail. Breathe it in, remember it. Feel that you've already got it. And then when you open your eyes, keep that feeling. And then decide, how are you going to get to that? If that's what you want, how are you going to get there? Even things like, I wanted to move and I was going to move, but I think fear stopped me because I was so frightened of moving and then thinking I've made a mistake, but you can't go back. If you've already moved out somewhere, you can't just take it back. So I took the place off the market through fear, really. So then I decided to do my home how I want it to be. I wanted a country cottage. So I took all them details, I closed my eyes, I saw it all, I smelt it all, and then I recreated it. And really, really cheaply. I ended up doing, like this room, I wanted it dark academia, but still with an old-fashioned feel to it. So the charity shops, I went and got the pieces that made me feel happy. My kitchen, it's all done so cheaply. I couldn't afford a new kitchen. So I bought the paint and painted the doors, and it looks lovely. I designed it how I wanted it because I knew that's the only way I was going to live what I wanted. But now I get up and I feel nice because I'm surrounded by lovely things. that I've created. I've made it a place where I want to be. And I think sometimes with depression, if someone suffers with depression, their house, their mind is cluttered, their house is cluttered. I've been there where you don't want to do anything, you don't know how. You don't put things away and things build up and you just don't really care. And sometimes it will take a friend that says, "Come on, I'll help you. How about if we move the furniture around? How about if we do it this way?" Because even just moving your furniture around, moving it out, cleaning behind it, putting it in different positions, looking what you've got in another room and bringing it in, it just makes you feel so much better. But depression can do that to you where you think, oh, it's no good. But once you do it, that depression can, it won't lift completely, but it does help. That you get up in the morning, there's clutter. I always think that with people that have things under their bed. I can't put anything under my bed because there's a frame that goes down to the floor. But when you put paperwork and things under your bed, you're sleeping on top of that. Sometimes there's paperwork, there's bills. You're laying on it, you're taking it all in. Don't do that. Clear that clutter out. And even if you do 5 things a week, even if it's 5 bits of paper a week, put them in the bin, put them out the dustbin, because that makes a big difference. Yeah, it's funny how our minds think, isn't it? I've been in some awful places. Many years ago, I used to do community care, and I felt really sorry for the older people, really, that weren't able to do those things. And all it would take was for someone to say, "I'll do them for you," which I often did. And it wasn't my job, but I would tidy up, clean, put things away, make it nice for them, change their bedding and make it smell nice, not just wash it and make do, make it smell nice so it's lovely when they get in it. It's all them little things. Anyway, I've been on a date. He wasn't for me. Another one bites the dust. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to bother. I'm not going to bother anymore. And it's about being comfortable with who you are, isn't it? Yeah, I've had a little bit of a giggle this week. My daughter went off to Venice, and I had my granddaughter. And my son booked a caravan, and he told me where it was. And I said, "Oh, I said, oh, I hope it wasn't this certain town, which is meant to be the worst town in Britain." And I said, "It's not." They said, "No, no, no, it's not that." And they got it ever so cheap, this caravan. When he got there, it was the worst town in Britain, and he'd booked a holiday there. Can you believe it? The money he paid for the caravan, he could have bought a house there. He had a nice time though. I just said, "Stay on the campsite, don't go into the town, it's notorious." And they ordered an Uber delivery, food delivery, and the man couldn't find them, and he phoned my son and said, "Come quick, because 'cause I'm sitting in this certain town." I'm not gonna say where it is. "I'm sitting in this certain town and I'm scared. You need to come quick." So I had one in Venice and the other in this other place. Honestly. But they're lucky, they've had holiday. I haven't had a holiday for years, and that is one of my things that I am planning to do. You've got to love a bit of cake, haven't you? I'm on a diet, but they're not props. They're to eat. I've ordered a new teapot as well from Vinted, which I will show you next time. Hopefully it arrives. It's been posted. So I've ordered that. Art Deco. I'll show you that. I've also ordered a nice wooden tray, which I would have thought would have been here, but sometimes you just can't tell with Vinted. It just depends on the carrier. Yeah, so I've got those to show you next time. Mm. I've just taken a look at myself. I look like a wench in this. I'm in the wrong era. I don't think I can wear this out. What clothes have you bought that you thought would look nice and you don't feel comfortable in? I've got quite a few actually, which I should put back on Vinted. And do many of you sell on Vinted? You know, that is a really good way to earn extra money. And I've put loads of stuff on there. And I've got stuff that's been on there a few weeks and it's just started selling. I don't know why it didn't sell in the first place. So I've got quite a few bits that I'm selling. But it's a really good way. If you want new clothes, sell stuff on Vinted and then repurpose that money into more clothes. That's what I do. I very rarely buy anything new because I know that I tire of it. So that's a really good thing to do. It's not only clothes you put on there. I tell you what I do sell on there are shoes. I've sold so many pairs of shoes on there. So that's quite a good thing to do. My friend's just sold a load, but she's got really big feet. She's got sorry if you're watching, but she's got size 9 feet. And you would think no one would want those shoes. As soon as they're on, she's selling them. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. One thing that I remember from years ago, I was going to a London cinema, and I can't remember if it was a cinema or a show, and I had nothing to wear. And someone lent me a fur coat, not real fur, like a fake fur coat, many years ago. And I thought I looked absolutely amazing. Anyway, in the interval, I went to the toilet and I walked down the corridor, and a woman came towards me and she smiled at me, and I smiled back. And like we were both smiling at each other. She stood aside to let me pass. I stood the other side and we both laughed. Then I realised it was a mirror. It was my reflection. I didn't recognise myself all done up like that, all posh in that coat. It was a mirror. It was me. Honestly, it's like a optical illusion. And I also remember many years ago, I did lose a lot of weight then. I lost 5.5 stone. And I went into a shopping centre and I needed a wee. So I went into the toilet, had a wee. As I opened the toilet door and came out to wash my hands, there was a woman standing there. And it was me. It was my reflection. I didn't recognise myself because I'd lost so much weight. And although I'd lost all that weight, I still saw myself the size I was before I started. And I found that quite difficult because that was the first time that I noticed the weight I'd lost. So, have any of you ever done that? Not recognised yourself? Or have you lost weight and still felt you're that size? And when you look in the mirror, you still are that size. I still do it now, although I've gone down from a size 22 to a size 14. So my clothes tell a different story. But the mirror, when I look, I still see myself the same. But that also reminds me, because I've been on Monjaro, not sure about it. I've been on it a long while now. When I first went on it, you have to take a photo of yourself in your bra and knickers and send it to them because you buy it online, before they approve you of it. Anyway, I went out on a date, and because I paint, I do art, this chap said, "Oh, I'd love to see your art." So I said, "I've got pictures of it on my phone." So he was over my shoulder looking, went into my pictures, and there's my picture of me in my bra and knickers. Oh, it wasn't nice. I didn't see him again. Don't know why. Yeah. Always delete your bad pictures off your phone or hide them, because you just don't know. I mean, another time I done the same sort of thing. On my telly, I've got a fire telly, but it's got a built-in fire stick. And you can put I think with a fire stick as well, you can put your photos on it so they just rotate. Anyway, I'd taken some pictures when I was out, and I was out with someone, and I took some photos, and then I told my daughter, I told her that, I wasn't dating, and, we sat here and all the pictures came up on the telly, and then there was another one of me. I'd got something stuck in my tooth, but when you open your mouth and look in the mirror, you couldn't see, so I got my phone and took a photo of it, and there came up on the telly a photo of me inside me mouth. Why? Why did I do that? Lucky it was only me mouth. Eh, so be very, very careful with your pictures. It does worry me. I cut my hair last night. Looks a little bit better, looks a bit thicker. Yeah, and I dyed it this morning. I took about 3 inches off the back. I tied it in a ponytail and cut underneath where I put the band, and it's made me feel so much better because it was just whittling down to nothing. You've always got to keep your hair trimmed up, otherwise it just goes all thin at the bottom. But I'm trying to get it into some sort of shape so that I've got it for the wedding next year, because I've got to have it up if I've got any left. It's coming out in a handful. So if I've got any hair left next year, I'll have it up. If not, I'll have to wear a big hat or something. How does everyone feel about, especially if you're on your own, staying in, not going out? Are you happy or do you get lonely? I'm really happy staying in. I love my own company. I really, really love it. And one of the comments I had was from a lady who said she was 80. And she said she loves her own company. And if anyone turns up, it ruins her day. And in a way, I can relate to that. I can relate to that, especially if you think you've got a nice day and you're not going to be doing a great deal, and then someone turns up and it just ruins your peace. And I think that sometimes we get to be on our own perhaps too much. And I think you can have too much of a good thing. But I find the more that I stay in, the more I don't want to go out. And I feel like sometimes it's my own little bubble. And I'm in my own little bubble and I don't want anything to ruin that. And when I get up in the morning, I have a little routine in the morning. And I'm always up at 5. No reason. I just really love that time of day. In the winter, you watch the daylight come up. In the summer, it's already light at 5 and you open the windows and all the fresh air, and it's just lovely. It's just really, really nice. And when I get up, I come into the kitchen and I make a pot of tea. I always make a pot of tea. I have real tea. I make a pot of tea and then I take it into my bedroom and I scroll through my computer, my phone. I look outside with my tea and I can pour as much tea as I want out of the teapot. And that is lovely. Then 8 o'clock, I get up, feed the dogs, walk the dogs, come back, have my shower, get ready for the day. And I find that routine is a big part of my life. And I've never lived with routine in the past. But now I do live with routine. And I love the routine because it structures my day. And although, even if you're not going anywhere and you haven't got to be anywhere, you still have that routine. And I think that's quite good. It's sort of a bit more sort of structured. And I just love it, absolutely love it. And I don't miss work. I don't miss not working. Where I think that when you stop working, you sometimes feel a little bit like you've been thrown on the scrap heap. And what now? But this is the next chapter. And this, for me, now is where I start living. And it's where I'm at my happiest in life. But I think, do you wander aimlessly through life with no direction? Because I have direction, and it's a must. And I think if you need to see where you're going in life, you need to see what path you're going to be walking. And I think sometimes if we think, yes, we want that, we're walking towards it, that is your goal. Along the way, you get to crossroads in your life and you dither there for a short time and think, what path do I go? Do I carry on or do I go one of the other ways? And that's just to do with decisions in life of what direction we're going. And sometimes life throws different directions at us because that's going to be your destiny. That's where you're meant to be going. And you can look back and think, if I didn't do that, then that wouldn't have happened. And I've thought it was my daughter she was a bridesmaid, as you know, at a wedding the other week. And her friend, she's known since she was 3 years old. The reason she had that friend is because many years ago, I sold my car to her friend's dad. And we became friends, and him and his wife had a daughter, a little bit younger than my daughter, and we all became friends. And my daughter's 41 now, they're still best friends. So if I hadn't have decided to sell that car, or if he hadn't have bought that car, we wouldn't have been at that wedding. Do you understand what I mean? And I think these things in life are what's meant to be. But I don't think we should wander with no direction. You need direction. You need to know where you're heading, and you set yourself goals. And one of my goals was to become a YouTuber, which I've done. I got told, "Oh, don't be so stupid. How old do you think you are?" Which made me more determined. Next year, my goal is to get a camper van. Whether I come to a crossroads and take a different path, because none of us know what's going to happen along the way, but that is my goal and that's what I'm heading towards. So you all have to have a goal instead of just wander aimlessly. It's not even about having ambition. It's about knowing your direction. I hope that makes sense to you. And I think you probably would relate to what I'm saying. And it's sometimes with maybe your husbands, and you think, if I hadn't have gone to that place that night, I would never have met him, and my life would have been different, and then I wouldn't have had those children, I would have had someone else's. Yeah, it's a funny thing to look at, but I often look at that. I think it's really interesting. But life is a journey, and we can't waste it, and we have to keep moving forward because our lives change. And sometimes when you're really, really happy and you think, I never want that to end, but life does move on. And when you're really, really sad or something awful's happened, you've also got to remember that that won't be forever. Nothing stays the same forever. Yeah, life is about choices. And I think I met my ex-husband when I went round to do his family's hair. They phoned me from an advert, many, many years ago, an advert in a paper. You don't do that now, do you? For mobile hairdressing. And I think, what if I was too busy and I couldn't have fitted them in? I wouldn't have met him. And now I really wish I hadn't. Apart from my children, of course. But what was the point of that? What was the point of that? Why couldn't my life have been where I'd met someone and stayed with him for years and years? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to that. But is it coincidences? I don't know. But I give life an awful lot of thought. Anyway, I'm going to end this video now. But I want you to think about what you would like. What would you like me to present to you? Is there anything you want me to talk about? Anything that you want me to do? Crafts? One of you had said about tie-dye from the 70s. She used to love wearing tie-dye. And it's given me an idea that I think that I haven't done tie-dye for years and years. Would you like to see me do a T-shirt tie-dye? Shall we have a go? I can't guarantee how it's going to take, and I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'm willing to try it, and it could be quite fun. It could be actually quite funny. So, but let me know in the comments if there's anything that you would like. If there's different types of makeup you want to see, if you want me to do a try on with my vintage finds or my charity shop finds, a bit like the wench blouse today. Actually, look where the boobs are there. Mine don't fit in it. I don't think I can wear it, but I thought I'd show you. But keep your comments coming because they mean everything and they keep me going. So keep them coming. I love them and I always reply back. And if any of you, are struggling and want just words of wisdom from me or some advice, just reach out because it makes me feel worthwhile being here. So keep them coming. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't already, because I am building this channel and I don't know how it's going to build. Once I get enough subscribers, I'm going to start doing a live once a month, which would be fun. Bit nerve-wracking, but I'm willing to do it. I am willing to do it. Me and my bonkettes, the Bonkers Club, live. That would be so good. Anyway, have a lovely week and I'll see you all on Friday. Take care.